My name's Ben. I live in a small town outside of Columbus, Ohio. I've always been into weird stuff, urban legends, haunted objects, deep web forums. Not because I believed any of it, just because I liked being creeped out. That all changed last year. I work nights as a security guard, so during the day, I have a lot of free time. I live alone, no pets, no roommates, just me, my games, and my weird obsession for internet oddities. And that's how I found it. I was browsing a dark web forum that specializes in selling oddities and rarities, taxidermy gone wrong, antique dolls, cursed items, typical clickbait junk. But one listing caught my eye. It was a claw machine, like the ones you'd see in arcades, but it looked off. The photo was grainy, but I could make out the shape: rusted metal, fogged glass, and a faint red light glowing inside. The listing just said, collector's piece, rare, works, pick wisely, $450. Way too much, but I clicked on it anyways. I bought the machine and it arrived 3 weeks later. No return address, just a giant wooden crate dumped at my doorstep. I had to pry it open with a crowbar. The thing was filthy, covered in grime, smelled like old pennies and mildew. But it worked. When I plugged it in, that red light came on, and the claw started moving on its own. At first, I laughed it off. Figured it was just some kind of pre-programmed sequence. But then I noticed something strange. The toys inside weren't toys. They were handmade. Crooked teddy bears with stitched shut eyes, dolls with teeth, and every time the claw grabbed one and dropped it, it would twitch. No joke, the doll would twitch. The noises started 3 nights later. Clanks, like something knocking from inside the glass. Scraping, sometimes a muffled voice, like it was a whisper underwater. I recorded one of the sounds on my phone, played it backwards, and it said, "Help me." I started having dreams, a warehouse filled with claw machines, rows of them, and behind each glass, a face, a real face, pale, screaming. Some of them had missing eyes or sewn lips. I'd wake up drenched in sweat, the sound of metal claws scratching in my ears. I finally decided to call the cops after the claw machine moved by itself. Not just the claw, the entire machine. It rotated 90 degrees one night and was pointed directly at my bed. That was it. I wasn't going to be the guy in a horror movie who waits too long. The police showed up, 2 officers. I explained everything. They clearly thought I was going insane, until the machine powered on, all by itself, and dropped one of the dolls at their feet. This one was different. It had human hair. They took the machine into evidence, and I thought that was the end of it, until one of the officers called me 2 weeks later. He was whispering, said they cracked the machine open, said there were teeth, real ones, inside the claw's pincers. They also found a dried fingerprint inside the glass case. It matched a missing child's report from 2019. Then the case exploded. Turned out, that wasn't the only machine. Feds traced it back to an underground ring trafficking abducted people, children mostly. They were being experimented on. Turned into whatever those dolls were. The claw machines were being sold to collectors of the dark art. I was one of the few who had the sense to report it. They arrested 5 people across 3 different states. The ringleader was caught trying to sell another machine in Kentucky. He had photos on his phone of a warehouse, exactly like the ones from my dreams. They never explained how the machine moved by itself, or how I knew that the warehouse looked like. I still don't understand it. Maybe those kids, maybe their spirits, were trying to reach someone. Maybe the claw wasn't picking toys. Maybe it was picking the people who could help. I got a commendation for tipping off the investigation, but I don't care about that. I don't even sleep anymore, because sometimes I still hear that claw scraping in the walls, and I haven't plugged in my microwave since, just in case.